and comfortable for you to keep up with. Let's move on to number 3, which is a good mouthpiece. Now, when I say good mouthpiece, I mean something that's really puts out the sound that you want. Because when people see you, yeah, they see you and they see the effort that you're doing, but the only thing they're really concerned with is the sound that you put out. Now, a lot of that is contingent on your embouchure. It pertains to your your finger placement, how you place your fingers on the horn, the varying speeds, which are dictated by your fingers, and a lot of other things. But when your projection, the sound itself, when when you actually have a pretty decent armature, when you actually have a decent, grasp on the horn, and your fingers are right, and your mechanics are correct, you really need a mouthpiece that can really channel your sound to the point where you're like, okay, well, this is exactly what I'm comfortable with. Because when you have a sound that you like, your confidence level is boosted. Once your confidence level is boosted, your sight reading becomes better because you're not afraid to play, because you know what you're going to play is decent, at least because you have a good mouthpiece that won't hold you back. Because, if you get a $5 mouthpiece, I mean, people like to say, okay, well, you can just get another mouthpiece and it'll be okay. You can get another $10 mouthpiece, you can get a $12 mouthpiece. But when you have mouthpieces that range from $10 to, let's say, $600, you really need to find the mouthpiece that's right for you. And price really does make a difference. I'm sorry to say, it does. The amount of work that someone puts into it, the price, it really does make a difference in how you sound and the way you play. And that's a really big factor when it comes to playing, and a lot of people don't really realize that. But mouthpieces can really hold you back. Mouthpieces can actually affect tonation extremely, and make you very flat, and also the saxophone can as well. I forgot to mention that in the last one, but yeah, so good mouthpieces really, really help out. And the next one too will be a good ligature. We can change ligature with mouthpiece. Let's put ligature at 3 and mouthpiece at 2, but ligature is also important. These last 3, actually 3, 2, and 1, are very, very interchangeable, because you can't do one without the other. So in the comments below, please remind me and tell me which one that you think are more important, but these 3 are all interchangeable. But a good ligature can help you out a lot when it comes to the vibrations of the reed. A lot of people come to me and say, oh, well, I can't really blow as good as I did yesterday, and it really depends on your reed and how your reed is shaped in reference to your ligature. Have you ever heard of a bad mouthpiece reed combination? The ligature plays a factor in that as well. So if your ligature doesn't wrap around your reed and your mouthpiece in the correct way, it really throws off the sound. Have you ever met someone who hugged too tight, or met someone who's not hugging you enough, and it's like you feel that's pretty much the same concept here when it comes to sound. Sometimes your sound can be wrapped too tight and you can't get as much vibrations out of it. Sometimes your sound is you have too many vibrations, and you might come up with a squeak, or two, especially when you first get a new mouthpiece and it's squeaking, and you're like, why is it squeaking? It wasn't squeaking when I had this ligature on there, so really watch out for the ligatures that you have. That was number 2, and moving on to number 3. Excuse me, not number 3, but 1. But like I said before, all 3 of them are interchangeable, and that is a good reed. Now, you could have the mouthpiece on the horn. You could have the ligature on the horn. But if you don't have a reed, nothing's coming out of that saxophone. So that's why I put this one at number 1, because good reeds really dictate a good sound. Have you ever had a speaker and it just blew? It just doesn't play, as good as it used to. It actually is damaged, and it just, makes all this, staticky type noise. Well, you've blown the coil. You've blown the actual speaker itself, so the coil is now scraping up on the cone of the speaker, and now you've ruined the performance forever. Well, not necessarily forever, you can get it fixed, but if you don't have those vibrations, there is no sound. Or if the vibrations are slightly, damaged, or the internal mechanism of the actual speaker is damaged, you don't have any good sound. So for number one, we chose reeds because they dictate the vibrations of the horn. And the reeds can be shaped in many different ways to dictate a certain genre, but really get the reed, much like all this other stuff, get something that's comfortable for you, and see what that works out, or see how that works out for you. But that's generally it, you guys. These are the top 10 things that we feel at Project Sax that you need for your horn and your playing and your musical abilities as a saxophone player. Now, coming up, we have a pretty big episode. We have a special edition episode coming up. We also have a Christmas edition episode coming up, and we may have some more Project Sax logs coming up because they're the easiest for me to do. But in the meantime, I'll be trying to fix my video editor so you guys can see some new episodes that aren't just, me uploading to YouTube with all the craziness of the unedited video. So this is Devin from Project Sax. You guys keep tuning in. Yeah, I know I've been a little bit stagnant on episodes, but I'm going to get better at that because I have a lot more time on my hands. I have almost officially finished marching band, so we're probably going to have some episodes on marching band as a whole, as a whole experience, in reference to your saxophone as well. So this is Devin, and I wish you guys good sound.